Okay, I'm going to tell you something that I probably shouldn't lead with. I am terrified to publish this. Not the content I believe in. It's the act of putting myself out here that's activating every fear that I have spent years working through. What if people don't like it? What if it doesn't resonate with anyone? What if I say something that really upsets people? All of that. That is the recovering people pleaser in me. And that's not all, because underneath that, there's yet another layer. Well, who am I to think I can do this? Who even wants to listen to me talk about this stuff? And that, my friends, that is imposter syndrome showing up right on cue. Like, oh girl, you about to do something real bold. So let me just go ahead and remind you of all the ways that it's going to go wrong. I'm telling you this because if you've ever felt that same fear about a project, a dream, a version of yourself that you're trying to become, you're not alone, and you do not have to have it all figured out before you start. So let me tell you what Tidal Soul is, what you can expect, and why I'm doing this. I'm Kimberly. Welcome to Tidal Soul. Here's the fundamental belief that I have, the undercurrent for everything that Tidal Soul is today and will become. And that is that the growth of the business is directly tied to the growth of you as its leader. Let that sit for a moment. You cannot, and I repeat, cannot build a 7, 8, or 9-figure business while having a fun and joyful experience without addressing your own stuff, your patterns, your belief, and your capacity to hold it all, to actually hold success, to hold abundance, to hold joy. And yet, we never talk about this stuff. We talk about all kinds of other strategy, tactics, marketing funnels, conversion rates. We talk about scaling teams, raising capital, recruiting, all the things until we're blue in the face. But the inner work, the mindset shifts, the spiritual alignment, the personal development that actually makes all of this other stuff possible, we never go there. Why is that? Well, it's because it's vulnerable, because it's harder to measure, because the business world still treats it as soft, as secondary, as optional. But I'm here to tell you that it's not optional. Let's talk about the prosperity gap. That's when you achieve what you set out to achieve, the revenue, the recognition, the results, and yet you still feel disconnected. You still feel hollow. You still feel empty. You feel like something is missing. Tidal Soul exists for the people who are ready to close that gap, to integrate the inner and the outer, to build businesses and lives that actually feel as good as they look. So who is this for? Tidal Soul is for any high-achieving woman. Leaders who've proven that they can execute, scale, and build, founders, C-suite executives, women who lead large teams, women who have mastered the metrics and lost themselves in the process. If you've ever sat in a board meeting, nailed that presentation, hit those numbers, and then gone home and felt completely empty, this is for you. If you've ever achieved that goal, whatever the goal is, and then immediately you had to move the goalpost because actually celebrating felt uncomfortable, girl, this is for you. Now it's time to create the experience that you hoped that success would provide, but realized it actually didn't. Let me tell you exactly what you're going to get here at Tidal Soul. We drop episodes twice a week. Mondays and Thursdays. Monday episodes are your why, the education, the storytelling, the deep, deep explorations of mindset, belief, and transformation. Thursday episodes are the how. Tools, implementation, and practical strategies that you can use immediately. I'll give you the same frameworks and practices that I use to run my business and my life. The Monday episode set up the transformation. The Thursday episode gives you the tools that you need to make it real. Here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to give you surface level advice. I'm not going to pretend that I have it all figured out, because God knows I do not. I am still very much on my own journey. What you're going to get is honesty, vulnerability, real stories from a real business owner who's still very much on her own journey. Here's what I want for everyone who watches Tidal Soul. I want you to feel seen, to feel understood, to know that you're not alone in whatever it is you're experiencing. I very much wished for something like Tidal Soul when I was starting my entrepreneurial journey, and I am thrilled to be able to create it for you. And here's the return on investment that I want for you. If you listen to this podcast for 6 months, I want you to become whoever you're actively choosing to become. Not who you think you should be, not the version that society expects from you, but the version that's been waiting inside, ready to emerge. And that is the promise of Tidal Soul. Tools, techniques, and strategies that help you embody, really embody who you are trying to become. I want to be clear about something. In spite of my irrational fears, I'm not risking anything by doing this. My business isn't on the line. My livelihood isn't threatened. But it is not in my nature to put myself out here like this. The people pleaser in me, she wants to stay safe and small and hidden behind my business. But here's the thing. I can't help you expand your capacity to hold whatever it is you're seeking if I'm not willing to do the same. So here I am, on camera, sharing my fears and my frameworks and my stories. I am actively choosing discomfort over hiding. And that's what I'm going to ask of you too. Not perfection, not certainty, just the willingness to take one step and then another step. So, if you're ready, episode 1 is about a $15 million decision that I made. One that went against every piece of conventional business advice that I had been given. I'll tell you the story and give you the exact decision framework I used. So subscribe and become a navigator. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's the fear that you're ready to face? Until next time, stay anchored. I'll see you in the next one.